Django, Django.
Enter the Lab, episode 11. Elvis, Escobar, Fort Sama. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, man? Episode 11. We out here, man. We out here. It's been a good week. It was a good week last week. Can't complain.
Yes, sir. So we wanted to get this this guest on for episode X, episode 10, which was double digits for us. But hey, we still got him on for episode 11 just to change up the vibe. He's a fan favorite, a former member. Will always be a member of this podcast as long as it goes on. So we want to enter B.Wonder to the lab. What's going on, Ben?
Hey, fan favorite. You need to clip that part and send it to me where it just says he's a fan favorite, because I'm going to play it every time I'm in trouble with somebody. I'm just going to play it. He's a fan favorite.
Yo, listen,
Love
this
it.
is what you think, but this is what other people think.
Hey, well, I just have that charm, that B.Wonder charm,
So what's going on, man? How's life?
Life is good. Life is, I want to say can't be better, but it's never been better for me, We were talking a little bit before, but I think I call the period of life I'm in now reflection period. So I'll be in my later 30s now this year. And so now with the kid and just especially with world events and all that stuff and just where I'm at in life, just you start to reflect on, all right, what do I want to do next in my next 15 quarter of my life, which is going to be this period, and just really leaning into all those things, not really caring. As you get older, you stop caring about a lot of things that, you think back and you're like, why did I even give a shit about that? This is the dumbest thing that in the whole circle of life that it literally means nothing in the end. And so I start to think about that. Yeah. Like in the end of this game we're playing here, what's really going to matter? What are the things that I'm going to think about then? And then, once I start to figure those out, I just go forward to them. So that means
Are you working from home?
Yeah. I'm working from
so you're
home
watching
still.
your girl grow up and everything. So you're seeing it every day. You're obviously you have that privilege of
She's
doing both.
I
That's
keep her
awesome.
home with me Mondays and Fridays, but we take her to daycare Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
But so today she was home with me while I'm working. And I kind of just work my schedule, around that. Some days she's harder to take care of than not. Some days I'm like, oh, why did I do this? But then I have to pay for daycare, and I'm like, what the fuck, And then
once you get to that toddler age, then it becomes maybe you might have to lock that door, or isolate yourself.
I'm already getting
sure.
a playpen in there. I mean, this thing's gonna be probably 5 feet high gate. Someone peeks in the window, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, he's got a kid in the cage there." I'm like, it's not a cage. She can get out. She just has to work on her climbing ability first. So I'm building skills while taking some what do you call them away. But
Ben got his daughter in solitary confinement.
Yeah, working from home now, but apparently we're going back to the office in like a month. That's what they said.
Oh, okay. Is that a company policy thing, or you're making that decision?
No, company policy. And so but it'll be hybrid. We can work in the office 2 or 3 days.
That's
at
awesome.
home
Yeah.
there too. So I'm actually looking forward to it a lot. Working from home is nice, but I miss human interaction. And I've been home for 2 years now. Literally.
Damn, that's crazy.
About that, 2 years, and it's just the cat I have has never experienced me not working. I'm not home.
Oh, you got that cat new? I didn't know.
Yeah, she's only a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
And
we've been podcasting for a year, so shout out that. That's crazy. Think about it. We've known you now officially 14 months. That's insane.
And she has never experienced that, and so I started to think about how many other thousands of people there got an animal during this time, and their animal
A
has
lot.
never experienced them being there. So this is a tough transition I think companies got to think about here is, there's a lot that factors into here. Like a lot of people too, employees, mine specifically, like with kids, they might have altered their daycare policy, right? Or, I know some people that they had 2 or 3 cars maybe, and then this hit and they're not traveling as much. So they got rid of one car financially, right? And then they might not have a vehicle now when they have to travel back to work. And so it's all those factors. But at the same time, like I do miss that human interaction because you'll work from home all week. And then by the weekend, right? Like my wife, for example, she goes to work. She's a teacher, obviously. And so we're like on opposites. It comes towards the weekend, right? And I've been trapped inside all day, every day. Like I want to get out. On the reverse side, my wife has been dealing with the school system leaving every day, right? And then it comes to the weekend and she just wants to chill. And so it's just like, it's that weird dynamic. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is I'm excited to go back into the office because then like people I talk to every day, right? I haven't seen them in a while. And I do miss like you're in the office, you're like, hey, you want to go grab some lunch and we can hang out and chit chat. I miss that. So I'm looking forward to that portion. Like I can hit up people I know. I want to see them like, it's a big building with giant cafeterias, anything you want. And it's like, hey, you want to grab lunch, hang out. Otherwise, you just never see that person.
Yeah, it's different from
that.
being in a group chat, being on a one-on-one chat or FaceTime and having that interaction physically, hearing words different, feeling, body language from that other person that you either know before all this went down or meeting that person that I'm sure there's people that you've gotten introduced to maybe with this job that you haven't met yet formally.
Yeah, over Zoom.
You know what I mean? So it's like getting to know them in a
Or
totally
Teams.
different way. We're all experiencing that in a way, and you're living it right now.
Yeah. And it just, the more I think about it, I think either way's bad. So I like the hybrid model of us being able to, have that flexibility, right? But still get the benefits of being in the, with other humans, right? Having that conversation. And I think, that's a good model to transition to in the future for any work environment because I just become to believe that seeing so many people change, but being home and isolated like that every day of the week isn't good for your health.
No,
it just isn't good for your health. At home, it's your safe space. It's too simple to not leave and do something, right? And so just naturally you get into that format that you just get trapped in there and then just bad things happen. So get outside.
Yeah. This is my little interaction, obviously I do the same thing. I don't have a formal job. I've been, doing things on the side, but hey, this interaction is okay with me as long as I get to talk to, people I enjoy having conversations with. I'll take it from there. But
yeah, but you're still going out and
that's true.
And all that and interacting with people. It's not like you're being trapped at home because this other entity is saying you have to only do this thing at your house, right? You have that freedom to still go do whatever you want to do. And so, I wouldn't put you in the same category.
The plus you have is you've been at your job at your company for a while now. Like I'm sure like people like you guys were saying have got onboarded or hired during COVID and now they got to go into the office. It's like a whole different thing. Like it's literally another first day. Like it's probably going to be like different for them and training. And now even though they met people already, it's kind of like they have to meet people again. And it's going to be tough for a lot of people kind of going into that environment now. Cause I mean, a lot of people's probably got their first job during this time with COVID and now they got to get experience to like the whole human interaction and that stuff is different. It's a whole different animal. So
yeah, I describe it this way. If you've been gone for 2 years, do you ever go back to your high school after you haven't been there for years? And you're
never
walking.
Actually.
Well, if you ever do.
I think about it often, but I never have.
You walk around, you get this like overwhelming feeling
nostalgic,
of like nostalgia, right? You remember that classroom and you have all these experiences there, right? But
things you didn't even thought you remembered automatically come back.
So things are still fresh. You recognize everything. It's nostalgia, but you also have the same feelings of like, I haven't been here in so long, right? I think you're going to experience that same feeling when I go back. Like, damn, I remember I used to sit here, that's what I think it's gonna be like.
Just the small little things, yeah. Well, before we'll hop right into it, first of all, thank you for hopping on. I know we have you for a few minutes or more than a few minutes, but wanted to touch on a few topics and kind of get your spin on it before we kind of go into the fun stuff. We'll be remiss if we didn't jump into the kind of what you touched on before, the real life events of life and the world, and what's going on now is obviously Russia, Ukraine, and all the craziness that's going on with that. There's really not much. I'm not glad, but this is one of the first times we have news that there's no one side or the other. It's, people all can agree that one side is not doing the right thing and the other side is suffering from those decisions. It's not polarizing. I think the rest of the world outside of Russia can mutually agree on all this. Obviously, for you could take it, or Ben, what's been going on? This happened last time when we started recording episode 10. It just started, I think day one was Monday or Sunday. So we've gotten to see a week's worth of it. But what's your guys' take on it? We'll touch on it a little bit, not to, have it go on to everybody's world, but it's something that's going on.
Yeah, no, it's definitely affecting a lot of people more than they thought it would. Yeah. People woke up Monday morning and were like, oh shit, the stock market, crypto. Yeah. Like all markets were affected by it. And it's kind of crazy because people think that Russia's so far away from us, but it's really not, because we got Alaska that's part of the US, even though it's not part of the continental US, but Russia is really close to Alaska. So it affects us in many ways, and it's just all the videos I've been seeing, all the stuff I've been seeing. It's sad, how one person's ego and whatnot can drive him to do these kind of crazy things. But that's what happens when you get in a position of power. And also a lot of stuff that people have been seeing too now, a lot of the media and a lot of stuff is coming out that it might not be true. It might have been exaggerated a little bit. It might have been older stuff, but even still, that's still going on. And you have to feel for that kind of stuff. And it's just because someone didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get their way. And they're affecting not people right now, but their children's children and their children's children in the future. So war is never good. War is never good. It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't help anything. It just,
unless you're making money from it, which that's why most people do it. But that's another topic. Or
it just sets you back and makes you look bad. And I don't agree with it. It's not cool. I'm not with it.
I have a lot to say on it, but it's devastating, right? This is unnecessary. It's hard to fathom and think about, and I try to stay out of any media. I do pay attention to a lot of things that are happening because I think that's the only way you can formulate a good thought process on a subject. I always say if you're wanting to talk about do a book report with somebody and talk about things that happened, it only works if both people read the entire book, or if you've both read multiple books to fully understand. But regardless of however we got to this situation, the fact of the matter is, and the most important thing, and I think this gets lost in focus, is it's happening now. It is actually happening regardless of how we got here. That no longer matters. The only thing that matters is it is going on right now, and it's unnecessary, devastating, and everybody should be focused on, the whole world should be focused on how to stop this and how to prevent anything like this from happening again. The devastation that this stuff causes is mind-blowing. I mean, I was sitting there thinking about how spoiled we are as Americans, right? To look at, we can never fathom here. Nobody here can ever fathom literally being at home or whatever, and all of a sudden you have to find a way to leave the country because people literally could come after and kill you. We have no idea what that's like here, right? And it happens over and over all the time here that we just kind of push it to the side. I don't know. It's super, super devastating. I don't know what you do. That's the thing. I don't know what you do, or how you stop this, how this doesn't get, I don't know.
Yeah, the way I've looked at it in many different ways. From perspective, I looked at it from obviously an empathy point of view. I've looked at it as a realistic, this is how the world works. People go to war, and this isn't the only war that's gone on in 2022 or 2021, 2020. There's been wars, maybe not as major as or as out of nowhere as this, but there's always wars going on for as long as humans have been on this earth. So that's what I've tried to, after I'm kind of like, what the fuck is going on, and confused. And I'm like, this is so sad that you could be waking up in Ukraine and doing your normal routine or lifestyle, and then all of a sudden it gets blown out. And then I think about that, I dwell on it, and then I like to always think of the opposite side, or side I might think of is, damn, this happens all the time in not every country. Obviously, America, no war has happened on this soil since like what, 1800s, early 1800s. Civil War was the last one. I might be speaking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't call Pearl Harbor a war.
Yeah, no, that was, you wouldn't call, September 11th a war either, and that was very similar. But it's crazy how, good we have it in that way, as far as not experiencing the hands-on. Like, if you're as Americans, you only experience war if you're, in the war as a soldier. And obviously, shout out to them if we have to, defend whatever we need to do, and that they're a lot better than myself. I can only speak for myself because I can't even picture myself doing that. But it is wild that people like him, Putin, you got, China's leader, you got North Korea's leader, and these people live for this shit. This is what they do. They're in power, and they got to power a certain way. And the only way they continue to prove their power, push their power, and to gain more profit, whatever they have probably 20 to 30 years more left on this earth, most likely at most. And what are these three humans going to do? They're going to do damage.
Yep.
They're not going to go out without a fight, quote unquote. And that's a horrible way to think about it. But these people want to cause heartache and destruction, and this is what they'll do.
Yep.
So I try to look at it at all angles, and that's not I'm not justifying it at all, but it's the way it is. These people, we've always known they've had it in them, and now they're doing it. And now the other leaders of other communist countries, what do? They might, no jokes, but they might get their rocks off on this and start, hey, let's see what South Korea's got going on. Let's play around with this. Why not? Because that's how they think. So it sucks that the world's like this, but since day one, war has been prevalent, and stuff like this has been going on, whether it's a small level or a bigger level. This is just in the social media era. If 9/11 happened during the social media iPhone era, crazy. You couldn't imagine what type of stuff people would be thinking differently then. So that's kind of my take on it, where it's a week in, and hopefully it ends way sooner than later. And we could kind of, see where we are, but I don't think it ends anytime soon. He's already in it. He doesn't care about sanctions. He doesn't care about anything that we do to them or any. He knew all this going in. You don't start a war without weighing all those options.
You don't turn back from this. He knew if he did not succeed, what the end game was for him. That's why when you do something like this, you're like, oh man, it's somebody with nothing to lose, and somebody with nothing to lose can be very scary.
Yeah. So. Any other thoughts on that overall? I just wanted to bring it up because it's happening, and in the lab we like to talk about what's actually going on, whether we talk about it, for 1 minute or 20 minutes.
It's just what's crazy to me is how, like, social media, man,
It's the
I don't
worst.
understand how people can like not be one-sided about things, because that's not really what I'm trying to say, but everything else that's happened before this, like, where were you with
Yep.
this stuff? Like, that's why, like, when it comes to stuff like this, I try to stay off social media. Like, I'll say things with like my friends in my group chats and stuff like that, but stuff like this like has been happening for years now in all other parts of the world. Like, I'm not gonna say any names, but like we had people that won Nobel Peace prizes that were, bombing the Middle East. So like,
Yep.
it's stuff that's been going on all the time and like real close to us, and it's just the media that controls it, and it kind of sucks because some people only tune in and they'll just watch CNN or they'll watch Fox News or they'll watch one thing, and at the end of the day, that's all owned by entertainment companies. Like, they just want people to
For a
watch.
profit.
Like, yeah, it's literally for money. They don't care if they're just trying to get the news out because they want more clicks to their site. They want more people watching their thing, and it's a shame because that's how stuff gets like falsely misspread, or people just start bringing up things that don't really have anything to do with the real topic at hand. And I think Twitter is probably the best. You just got to follow the right people. And man, I've seen some crazy stuff coming from people like, bro, like old people walking, trying to, just get out of there, get into Poland, like walking 80 kilometers. Like, I've seen a lot of threads, and with anything that we kind of talk about, this is kind of just do your own research. Don't listen to
Yep.
all that other stuff, and kind of just, I don't know. It's like when someone dies and you're like, oh, rest in peace. But like, that person didn't really know them. They're just trying to get likes. Like, don't like take advantage of a situation to get likes on social media or get people to
I'm
comment
glad you
on your
brought that
stuff.
up.
Because it's disrespectful, bro. Like, it's just you never talked about any other thing. Now everyone's talking about this one thing and you want to bring it up. Like, no, that's not who you are. Like, don't do that.
I always like
Like,
to say where social media is bad and so fake and for profit is, when something happened in the Bahamas, a hurricane, everybody posted pictures of that one time they went to the Bahamas and like in a bikini, with the flat, like, and then
right.
people would like pray for Paris and everybody took advantage of
Yeah.
that. And it was just like, you're doing that just to get you're getting likes, first of all, what the fuck does your prayer do? Nothing. That's another topic I won't get into. It's doing fucking nothing. Retweeting it does nothing. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then doing that, what you're doing it for. The same thing, we had episodes about Cuba.
Yeah,
people all of a sudden became Cuban. Everybody knew a Cuban at that point.
Everyone loved Cuba. They loved the old cars, the old buildings. Motherfucker, that's because we had a communist piece of shit in there for so long. That's why Cuba has those old cars, not because they want it. That was choice. That was the one time that I kind of like went out of my way to post something like that, because like I was born there, so I guess I can talk about it. I know how that situation is, but I mean, some of you motherfuckers can't even point Ukraine out on the map. Like,
I was gonna tweet that. I was like, if you can't locate Ukraine, don't tweet about it at all.
Right?
Please.
Exactly.
So, like, just say one thing, like, yo, this sucks, this is sad, like, whatever, but don't go in depth about it. Like, you might say something that you shouldn't say, or that could be offensive, and it's not going to lead anywhere. So
right,
that stuff kind of just like bothers me. It irks me. It's like, dude, no, stop.
Yeah, me too.
All right, last point on it, Ben. You can wrap it up.
I don't know. I'm with you there. If you really want to know what times like these are like, then talk to somebody who lived through these times.
Yeah.
Right. That's your best way to do it. So, I'll just quick example. My wife's a teacher. One of her assistants is from Bosnia, and was there when the Bosnian War. If you've never known about the Bosnian War, I suggest you look it up. It's pretty devastating. Probably the second biggest genocide there was. But she was like, when this all happened, it was on TV at the school, and she like had to leave the room crying. She's like, she has PTSD because she lived through this same stuff in the war that was there, and there's the reason she's here today is because she was in a situation where all of a sudden the land where you were born at, raised, loved, all of a sudden you have to leave it because you're going to die, and you don't know what that's like. So before you really comment on this, talk to somebody who's been through it. There's a lot of people out there.
100%. And we'll see how it plays out. We'll see what is behind it, because in anything government, we always find out after some time what the who is really behind it, the masterminds, what the real plan was. We don't know now. Nobody knows before and after. So we'll know through time. Everything will come out.
Can't wait for all the new movies that'll be made of this and the documentaries and all that.
They already put like some Ukraine and the TV thing on Netflix. It was all back that from stuff, 2015.
Can't wait for those too.
Yeah.
There's profit to be made from war and in media and that and in guns and warfare. So just wanted to at least touch on it.
A penny.
Yeah. we're hopefully on this podcast we won't touch on it every single week unless something more intriguing or something devastating more develops. But I at least wanted to spend some time on it just to get your guys' genuine thoughts, because we I haven't heard individually from you guys about it, and I kind of respect it, and just wanted to have our listeners and viewers at least listen to our takes. But
you even
let's jump into
mention it.
Yeah, it would be weird, right? It would be like we're trying to avoid it. So let's jump into some fun things. Obviously, we have you for a few more. So non-sports related stuff, because there's not much sports going on because the MLB stinks. We'll maybe talk about that later.
I will say about the MLB.
Mention one thing. Go ahead.
My only comment is this whole situation stinks. It really makes you hate baseball, right? But
even more so if you didn't already.
But at the same time, the reason baseball has such an allure to it and why you continuously go back to it, it's like your first ever love in life, right?
Yep.
Is because baseball is associated with summer. It's got that summer feel to it. And it's like, how can you have a summer without baseball, right?
Right.
It's just not the same thing. That's the problem with baseball. So they'll do shit like this, like they always do all the time. Yeah, we'll come back around and to be like, all right, well, how's my team doing? And then your team sucks, so you'd be like, whatever. Anyway. What I'm saying is baseball is like your first high school girlfriend.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. That's how I would think of it. And that's the reason why I keep going back to it. It doesn't treat me well.
It's your toxic.
It's disappointing. It's toxic. But somehow I'm watching it at midnight.
Right.
Reminiscing. So
you just gotta
you're spot on.
You just gotta cut it off and be like, I'm sick of this shit, dude.
Yeah, I gotta show it that it doesn't control me. I control it.
Derek Jeter.
Derek
Jeter.
That guy.
We talked about this last week, and now the second episode came out. Have you been keeping up with the Kanye doc, JEEN-YUHS documentary? What's your thoughts on it? It's got me. Today I was in the car. I was listening to College Dropout. I haven't listened to it in years. Makes me appreciate it even more when you have the behind the scenes, how it's made, the grind, the hustle, the mindset. So give us your take on it overall. You got Kanye, Donda 2, that you could touch on everything. We haven't heard your take on it at all. So
I heard Ben bought a stem player.
I did not, and I'm not.
I would think you would try it out at least. You feel like, all right, let me dabble. Let me save the receipt.
And then this close to doing it. I was like this close to doing it, right? But then I'm like telling myself, don't do this. He gets you every time. Don't fucking do it. Every time, bro. I was like, just like Life of Pablo, eventually it's gonna end up on a streaming service, whatever. I like it. I'm not knocking the idea of it. I like the idea of it. It's whatever. I'm just not gonna do it. I have other things I could use that money for, so I didn't do it. But the whole documentary, I don't. I feel Kanye's like an anomaly to me. It's like a love-hate relationship, because when I first heard College Dropout, just changed a lot for me, and I've always admired his hustle and his greatness and his creativity. And, he's a dude that literally just goes for it. But then he also, the other aspect, he's wild. He does crazy stuff that you don't understand. And so then I always start to thinking of him as you know, just because you don't understand someone doesn't mean that what they're doing is bad necessarily. You're also only seeing one aspect of this person that is, you know, formulated into that aspect of them. You're not seeing the real person of who they are.
Yep.
And so that documentary is so captivating because the footage is so good, and it shows you, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of more sense now of why Kanye is who he is, because you see from the beginning that that motherfucker has believed it since he's been born, and his mom believed it, and he has always thought this way. He always has that drive. That drive in him is just, you see it. It's crazy. And he's willing to do whatever it takes. So maybe we're not meant to understand him right now because we're not the same person, right? We're not the same person. We're all different, and that makes us unique. And so maybe what he's doing, we just don't understand because that's our initial reaction to it, just because it's different from what we're used to, you know? But you can't deny that the guy is one of the most creative human beings that maybe has ever been on the planet. You know, he
Creative,
is crazy,
intriguing,
says what he does.
like,
but then this is where the struggle is. You can't also help but think, how come he does have this pattern where he does seem to maybe go a little more crazy around an album time, right? He is also the greatest marketer that's ever lived. Kanye is the greatest marketer that's ever lived. He can put Yeezy on anything and it will literally sell. And so he's a genius in that way too. You know, he has conquered the human captivity, creativity mind. Like, he captivates you. You always are looking what he's doing. Like, I don't know. The documentary so far is
all
so
those
good.
words. Those are great words to use
I'm
to
so
describe
upset
him.
that I have to wait every week for an episode.
I know, me too.
You know, how bullshit is that?
I liked it. I
Kanye's
said last week, I was like,
he's this visionary that looks so far in the future, like an Elon type guy, right? But he's involved in this documentary. Anybody who says not is,
of course.
Like, come on, he is.
There's
He's
no
ridiculous.
way he
involved
would
in
allow
everything
it to
that has
air.
his name on
Everything that, he's totally involved in this. That he released it that way. I would have expected him to release this some new way, like we all got this thing in the mail and we pricked our finger and had a microchip put into us, and the album just plays.
We would have to sign up for a whole new video streaming
he takes
service.
us back to waiting every week for an episode, and he knows they're good, right? And so he just makes
he
you
knows.
want more.
And he's about limited, having within your fingertips, but you want to have it, you kind of have it, but you're not, you can't get the full experience unless you do X, Y, and Z. I was telling Ford last week, it's about time I have, or there's something on television or an app that I can't get it all in one shot. It feels refreshing. It feels like, it feels back in the day, which is only 5 years ago, that I have to wait for a week. I kind of like that. I haven't gotten that since like Game of Thrones, and not Game of Thrones. Yeah, Game of Thrones. Like that was the one show that every week it was just like an event. Don't talk to me from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. and don't text me. Don't whatever. So that's kind of what I don't have that same feel, but I definitely lock in and I look forward to it. I make sure I got a little buzz going. You know what I mean? Me and Bree, we took 3 hours to get through the first episode because I rewatched it twice. Just talking about it, going on YouTube, like, fuck it, we got to watch Through the Wire. We got to watch Jesus Walks Now video before, you know what I mean? Like, it's dope.
That's exactly how Emily and I are.
That's awesome.
Hey, last thing I want to say about it, and then I got to drop because I got to go wash a baby. But people hate on Kanye and say he's crazy and whatever, but I've always thought this about him, that if you pay attention to his career, especially in this documentary and everything about him, no matter how crazy it goes or the crazy stuff he says, the people that have been around him from day one, that grew up with him, that have been close to him, they love him. People will do anything for him, right? No matter what crazy stuff that he does. And so that only tells me that that person's like family, and they really believe that he truly is a good person. Otherwise, when he did all this stuff, they would never just talk to him ever again, right? If you had a crazy fan that was crazy, but you didn't really like him, right? If he did start doing crazy stuff, you would never talk to him again. Right? But if you loved him like a brother, you'd work through all this, and you'd always be there for him because he's a brother to you. And so to me, that tells you that what type of person he is, and I do think he is that way. So, but yeah.
Well, now that we're stressed on time, well, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to leave us with, words of wisdom, B.Wonder,
Words of wisdom,
B.Wonders, whatever it is, you have the floor until you have to log off.
Oh, I'd just say appreciate all the little things in life. Keep your friends and loved ones close. You know, family to me is for everybody's the most important thing. You know, block out all the noise and just live every moment of your life. You know, like I don't want to say it's your last, but live it like it could be your last, because our time here is only limited. And in the end, the people that are closest to you, that you love the most, are the people who are going to be there. So,
take that for data.
Take that for data. Shout out, Vito.
All right.
All right, brother.
Peace,
we
guys.
appreciate you.
Love you guys. Hey,
All right,
my favorite part of the
and
show
health.
every week is when Ray's like, officially or non-officially sponsored by Billionaires Row. I don't know. The check's in the mail or not.
Yes.
Check's in the mail.
BR
So
boys.
Billionaires Row, get that check in the mail.
That will be our ad for the week. BR, water,
Oh.
caviar, all of it. Peace, brother. We love you. All right, well, I love it. That was a great way to end.
That was good because I was
Ben.
gonna
I didn't
like,
see that coming at all. I was like,
no,
oh,
me
what's
either.
his favorite part?
I was gonna say, yeah, least thing I expected, but I was gonna say something like, "Yo, we need to get Ben saying something about BR before he leaves." I was gonna type in. I'm so glad he did. He said that.
That was amazing.
But keep it on the Kanye stuff, man. I was gonna rewatch the episode today, but I kind of just like
I gotta rewatch it too.
fell asleep and whatnot. But as soon as I put it on, I just started remembering like what happened, and because I wrote some of the stuff down because I wanted to talk about it. And one of the things that stood out to me was when he played Through the Wire for Pharrell, and Pharrell just bounced. He just walked out of the studio. He just left. And the craziest thing to me was when Pharrell straight up told him, he was like, "Yo, you're gonna make it. Like, you have everything. Like, you're gonna do it. Like, you're gonna be everything you say you're gonna be." And then he told him, he's like, "But when you make it, like, keep that same drive, keep that same attitude, keep being who you are right now." And that's literally what Kanye is. And that's such a good lesson for everybody, because a lot of people like work hard to get somewhere, and when they get there, they just stop. And it's just like,
that's relative towards everything, you know, and anything.
Yeah. And I was just like, that was probably one of my favorite parts, if not my favorite part of the episode, because that just stuck out to me. And like, it's something that I'm going to take in anything I do from now on. And also at the end, when he has that chorus and they're doing the part 2, Through the Wire.
Yeah.
And like, the guy is leading and he's like, "No, this is how you got to do it." And then Kanye hears it and he's like, "No, try it like this. Do it like this." And he puts the emphasis on certain parts that he wants it. And then they do it. And you're just like, bro, I got goosebumps. I got chills watching that. I'm just like, yo, this man, like Ben said, he's literally in everything that he puts his name on. Like, he was just like, you see him in the background, like, it seems like he's not paying attention. But he's paying attention like all the time to it. So that shit was just like, because you don't really ever see how stuff gets made. You're not there behind the scenes, and like how he made the music video.
Love that raw footage.
So that was crazy. Just, you know, stuff like that. I was just like, bro, like, this is, and like, I don't know how episode 3 is gonna be. We're gonna get that on Wednesday. And how far it's going to go into his life or how recent, but there's got to be more, man. Like,
right?
It's just, and at the beginning of the episode where Dame was, when they were like, "Oh, you got a new guy, Kanye West, this and that," and he's like, "Well, you know, Kanye's whatever, and he's a cool dude, and he's gonna bring a lot, but you know, I'm just gonna have him tell you because that's the best way to put it."
And I've studied Dame a little bit, and I'm fascinated with his connection with Jay-Z, his business mind, and most of the time, from what I've gathered from himself and from others is he's a cocksucker most of the time. He's arrogant, he's loud, he's obnoxious, but he's like a Diddy, where back in the day it was like you see Diddy videos of him being way too much. Like, whoa, you're being aggressive, but like they usually get what they want. You know, they usually, you know, when they believe in something, they go harder than anybody else would, and you got to respect that to a point.
And that's why they make it to where they're at, because they're not satisfied with the average. They're not satisfied with mediocrity. Like, they're gonna do what it takes to be great. So that's, man, that stuff like that is just like, even though Kanye is wild, Kanye is whatever you want to say about him, like, you can't take away his drive, his dedication. Like, he just wants to be great. And I started laughing so hard because he was doing an interview and he's like, yeah, I almost died. Like, you know, it could have been all over. He's like, but I just came to this crazy revelation, and I'm listening to it. Like, I'm locked in. I'm just waiting for him to say something like really mind changing and, you know, something crazy. He's like, I want to be the best dressed rapper in the game. I'm like, bro, you almost died, and this is what you want to do? Like,
he's crazy, bro.
This is what you're saying? You want to be the best dressed rapper? Like, out of all the things you could have said, like, I just not even say the best rapper. Cool, you know, best artist. All right, but he's like, I want to be the best dressed rapper in the game. I was like, all right, bro, like, come on, man.
Bro, people think Kanye just out of nowhere, and I don't want to use the word crazy because every that's just an easy word to call people when you don't understand them. I think Dave Chappelle said that great, was like,
Every
people
genius is
call
crazy.
people. Yeah, that's the second part of it, is like a lot of people want to call people crazy when they don't want to understand them or they don't try to understand them. But there's a lot that goes into their creative process, and a lot of geniuses and a lot of people that think differently behave differently. It's just a fact. It goes hand in hand. But people think Kanye started acting, you know, oh, he started getting into Jesus and religion lately. Like, no, bro, he's always been that.
Always,
and if I talk about God, my record won't get played, huh? Like, that's like straight out the, like, his first single of all time. Like, he mentioned Jesus and God, like all three verses. So, and then the other thing is, like, how do he act so wild? Like, he's saying wild shit. He just says some crazy shit. It's like he's always said that. He obviously has a bigger platform now, so you notice it more. But back then, you're seeing 2002 Kanye was still trying to say some great 2003 Kanye, a year in, 2 years in, where he had no leg to stand on. And that's how he's always been. And you have to respect somebody that's been like that since day one, bro. And I got to rewatch the second episode because I rewatched the first one. I watched it in parts, 1/2, 2/2, and then I watched it with Bree in full. And then this one, we were drinking a bottle of tequila while watching it. We want to put it on YouTube. She passed out, so I got to rewatch it. Maybe we'll finish it tonight, actually. But man, that's it's rare you get real raw quality footage, like you said last, where Cootie's doing some great fucking camera work to get the ins and outs.
And
He's
like,
recording all the time.
He gets what he wants. So, like, when they went to take the wires off his mouth, like the metal stuff out of his mouth, the doctor was like, no, you can't record that. He's like, why not? It's illegal. And the doctor didn't say nothing back. And like, they're in his
that Asian doctor. I knew once I seen it was an Asian dentist or doctor, I was like, he ain't gonna allow. He's gonna be so like, nope, can't do it.
That's why he left. He's like, all right, other buddy's gonna come in and do it for you. So, like, that kind of stuff was like,
yeah, because if he fucks up, that's on film. He's actually smart. Like, if you really think about it, he actually, like, I laughed about it too, and I was like, actually, I probably would do the same thing. If I fuck up, it's on record, it's on video. That malpractice, I won't win that suit.
And the other guy was like, yeah, we're gonna wash him off. He's like, nah, keep the blood on him. My mom wants him like that.
And he was serious too. He was like, nah, my mom wants it. Like, he didn't even say that with a joke.
Yeah. And like, that stuff he was really upset about that because it kept getting like pushed back and held back, and he didn't even have the surgery because he just wanted to drop his album. He wanted to do what he had to do to. The crazy part about it is, like, he got up, like, he was up there, and then it just goes to show you like the ups and downs in life. Like everything was going so well for him, and then he gets in that car crash, and now you gotta for a
Bro, he
rapper,
had
for an
everything
artist,
going.
yeah, for a
Got
rapper, for an
signed.
artist, like your mouth, like that's the most important thing. And
Yep.
they were
And he
saying
didn't
like it
want to
was
be,
up
and he could
here.
still produce, but that's not what he wanted to be.
No,
That's what's ironic about the whole thing and how almost beautiful it is, where he had to convince, and at the time there was no rapper and producer. Now you have people like J. Cole that produces
yeah,
his stuff. You got a few. The Dream, that's that became a recording artist, a writer. Neo became a singer and a writer for, you know what I mean? He was one of the first. It was foreign. It was foreign to say, hey, I got hot beats. And he did have hot beats. Everybody in the what do you hear every 5 minutes in the doc? Yo, Kanye, when am I gonna get that beat? Like
yeah,
everybody wanted a piece of Kanye, and he always talks about it. He wanted it for free. People wanted handouts, no matter who you
yeah,
were. And what he kept on telling people was like, no, I'm not. Yes, I do this, and this is genius, and this is great. But what I could do also is put a whole song together. And that's what's beauty of it, is having that confidence where most of the time it probably won't work out for you. But hey, if there's one person that's going to believe in you, that's what I've taken from this, is believe in yourself. Even if
right.
you fall flat on your face, even if you're wrong, it's like at least you had that belief in yourself. And that's what I've been taking. That's why it's so inspirational. And I think it's an epic documentary about one of the biggest artists in our time. It's crazy. Like imagine like a documentary this detailed on Michael Jackson, Prince, or they have Michael Jordan, which The Last Dance, but this is real raw footage. This is
Yeah,
like he was brushing his teeth, like shit like that. Like it's not really a thing. It will become a thing more now because we're in 2022 and everybody's recording everything they do. So that's kind of what makes it special, is right before the iPhone and how easy it is. But
yeah.
it's special, man. I'm excited for episode 3, and it's gonna be
I just love,
amazing to tie it all up.
yeah, I just love every interaction that he has with his mom. Like everything that they put on there. Like at the beginning of episode 2,
Yeah,
he's freestyling. His whole family's there. He's freestyling, and his mom at
yeah,
the end is like, "Get out of there, Kanye!" Like and
bro.
like when he was on the
She's
Chappelle
his
show,
number one fan. You get to see it,
yeah,
bro. Like
you get to
number
see
one
that.
fan.
So like that's why when he was on the Chappelle show and he was doing I promise I'm so self conscious, like that's why I always got at least one of my watches. Like his mom was like, you got kind of political there, like you're bragging about yourself and you're saying all these things about yourself, but then you say you're self conscious, and like that relationship, bro, like that's everything to me because I got a good relationship with my mom, but like you can always take it up a notch. Like it can always be better,
Yep.
and that's gonna make me focus on that a lot more. And it's just genuine, bro. It's just genuine. It's not like, even though he was like rapping, doing whatever, talking about things that maybe moms wouldn't like to hear their son talking about, like she didn't care about that. She just wanted him to be successful and do what he wanted to do, and like the
And always
joy,
giving them wisdom and shit.
yeah, the joy in her voice, like just her body language was so amazing. And that's why when she passed away, that took such a toll on him. He started wilding
Yeah.
out because people are like, "Oh yeah, your mom died." Like that doesn't give you an excuse to act the
And he
way.
broke up with his girl
Yeah,
at like a similar
yeah,
time. I don't know which
yeah,
came first, but it was all within the same relevant, time. It's
yeah.
crazy.
So that stuff is kind of just puts it in perspective to so you could like see where he was coming from and what he was going through. And I'm glad that they put that on there because that definitely changed my point of view on a lot of things, and I hope it does for a lot of people as well, because that kind of stuff is important.
100%. And we'll review the episode or act 3 next week when it airs this Wednesday. If you guys have listened to this podcast, obviously we spent a lot of time on it the last 2 episodes because it's that good. So highly recommended. The other thing, obviously we talked about MLB stinking. We won't address them until we have baseball back,
No,
and we'll kind of get into that.
they don't
That
deserve our
doesn't
time.
deserve a time. But Batman movie comes out. What is that? This weekend. It was trending all day on Twitter because it got like great reviews from the writers on or critics on Rotten Tomato. Top Tomato is a supermarket in Staten Island. That's funny. So it got like good reviews right off the bat, and it was only a small amount so far, but obviously this is a mega movie that a lot of time, a lot of
People
big
have been
actors
waiting
are
on.
into it. Yeah, waiting on it for like 2 years, has been in production. It halted because of COVID, but I'm excited. Me and Bree we already are gonna, now that we have both free time during the day, matinee movies are the shit. Bro, you go see a movie for fucking like $12 for 2 tickets. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah?
If you don't go there and you don't eat or drink, you walk in there, $12-13. You could buy two tickets. It's amazing. Maybe I'm over it. Maybe. Actually, I got 30% off last time I did it. So it might be like more like under $20, but you could get it for like $9-10 for a ticket matinee during the day. And I haven't done that in a while, but we're doing that when it comes out next week. But I'm hype about it. I love Zoe Kravitz. She's Catwoman. Yeah. I didn't think, it's funny because like when I seen Halle Berry as Catwoman, that was more like that wasn't a serious role. That was kind of like a I call it a Disney version of Catwoman. But hey, she's still wearing leather. She still look good. But if there's another person to pull off Catwoman even more so, because Michelle Pfeiffer? That's the actress name in Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking Mekhi Pfeiffer. What am I thinking? Hold on. Catwoman. You're listening to this and you're mad because my brain doesn't work as quick as you would like. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You could say your point until I say it.
No, I'm excited for it for sure, just because, Batman movies have always been kind of like a staple for DC. I just can't get my head around Robert Pattinson being Batman, bro, because like
I don't like it. I'm not a fan of
movies,
him as an actor.
A lot of people like it, but I don't know, man. I hope he does well in it. I'm sure he will. He's a pretty good actor. He's not bad, but
yeah, I don't fuck with him in general. I'm just keeping it honest. Like, I think of him as a vampire. I didn't fuck with those movies. My man needs to get out in the sun more. His skin is
which is
milky
probably why
white.
he's good for Batman, because he's always
I guess so.
hiding in the cave.
Yeah, all right. Oh, by the way, I was right. Michelle Pfeiffer, I was correct. It didn't sound right when I said it, so
yeah. I mean, I'm definitely
she was really good at the Catwoman. So yeah, I'm hyped.
Yeah, wasn't Anne Hathaway the other one?
Yeah, Anne Hathaway. Yeah, that was. I get why at the time they casted her in that, and that's cool. But you know what it is with Catwoman? You gotta, and that's why Michelle Pfeiffer did so well at it. You gotta be sexy and hot with a little bit of like capable of being crazy. That's why she was good in I call it the original one, where it was like, when I was a kid, I couldn't understand who this character was. It was like, she's a good guy or is she a bad guy? She's like, and I'm young at the time. I'm like, is she hot? Like, is she crazy? Like, what the fuck? She gets eaten by her cats in the alleyway. Like, and that's actually my favorite Batman movie of all time, other than I guess the Joker, the newest Joker one. But that's 1A, if not 1B, as far as a movie. I love that. Tim Burton makes great movies. But yeah, just wanted to bring that up. We don't have too much to talk about other than a couple of things. I know we wanted to talk about what you just started watching recently, but what topics do you have on yours that you wanted to bring up before we kind of wrap this episode up?
UFC over the weekend. I thought
this past weekend, not next weekend. You're talking about?
No, not next weekend. This weekend just passed.
Make sure you clarify for the people.
Yeah,
because this weekend's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited. I thought it was only gonna be just really the main event, even though I was pretty spot on that fight was gonna end real quick. The fights leading into that, bro, were brutal. Like, I've seen some pretty bloody fights, but man, this past weekend, bro, like there was a lot of blood in that octagon. Like I don't even know who.
By the main event, there was a whole bloodbath in the corner
Yeah,
of the ring. It was nuts.
literally, like some dude got like elbowed right in the bridge of his nose and just started leaking all over his face. And by the end of the round, he had like blood all over his back, and they tried to stop it, but you can't stop that. And the next round, they kind of called that fight after, and then the fight after that one, the women's fight, Kim and I forget the girl that won. Man, they were going
Brazilian chick and Korean.
The Korean, yeah, they were going at it, man. The Korean got a nasty elbow.
I don't know these people's names.
Right here to the side of the face, and she just
she kept on throwing them elbows, right?
Yeah, after she cut her right here with the elbow, it was like she was spamming.
She didn't go down,
button. Dude.
She didn't go down.
Bro,
how did
know.
Dude, in slow motion? I was like, how are you still didn't even budge? Crazy
warriors, bro. That kind of stuff, man. It just. I was watching
good quality fights for not paying for it, or at least getting it on ESPN Plus. Maybe you have to pay for it, but what I mean, not like if those fights were in other people's that you knew, like had notoriety body, plug in the name, you'd be like, this is the best fight of all time. But it happened for a little less budget and lesser name.
Yeah, I'm glad that kind of stuff happens, I guess, because it just makes more people want to watch, and you can tell that these fighters like are in there for the love of the sport, not because they want to get paid, because one, they don't get paid that much, and two, like honestly, you can't pay me enough to get in an octagon for 3 rounds, 5 minutes, and just try to kill the person in front of me. Like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, I could spar with someone, cool, no problem, but that kind of stuff, they're literally in there to get performance of the night or fight of the night, to get that bonus, and you don't see that in other sports because the money aspect is so big. It's so it's sometimes what these people play for. So when you sit down and watch UFC, it's something different, bro. And it like I can't sit down when I'm watching that kind of shit. I'm just standing up the whole time. So that's why I'm so, and they do such a good job of hyping it up and building it up, even with these like Vegas events, like the smaller ones. And that's sometimes even better because you don't have that many people in there and you hear everything else, and it feels like limited. So like that kind of stuff is awesome for the sport, and I love it. Like I feel like we're just getting started with UFC, even though we're on like UFC 272 and Vegas 49 and whatever. But man, UFC is up next if it's not already there. And
yeah, it definitely is. There's something to watch every single week. You got
And
wow, the last 3 main UFCs, 272 coming up, 271, 270, 269, like tremendous.
Dana White might be a cheap asshole and whatever, but dude, he's got
what company doesn't pay their employees well. Well, great company, you know what I mean? Like, that's just the facts.
I mean, the main event, like Bobby Green, bro, mad respect, mad ups to him. Cause
short notice, right? Like I never heard of him, never seen him before, but I heard he took it on 10 days.
Yeah, he just
obviously that's
like
gonna happen
2-3 weeks ago, and Daniil Berriush got hurt. He's like, fuck it, let's go. Like, I want to fight. So he was in a no lose situation.
That's what I mean. You get the notoriety, get some buzz. If you win, whoa. If you lose by kind of close, you're gonna get another shot because you could always claim, hey, I wasn't ready. Smart by him.
Yeah, Islam Makhachev is a bad man.
Yeah,
he is a bad dude.
Those Russians, man.
Bro, I
said they taking over, but not in that way.
They were booing him, bro. They were booing him because of everything that's going on. Like, bro, it's not his fault. Like, he didn't invade Ukraine, bro.
Yeah, let's not throw every single Russian human being in a bad light. Let's not be those people in the 40s and the 60s that we used to do.
Yeah, they got like
2 other countries.
I saw some article about Ovechkin saying that he's evil, he's a liar, like he should do something. Like, what's he gonna do? Slap chat Putin? Like, I tweeted it. Like, what? Come on, bro. Like,
People are just dumb. They just want to get a tweet that like gets retweeted or liked. And I get it. There's a time and place for it. We all do it. Say a joke, but like you're just saying some ignorant shit at that point. Like, what do you expect? Like, Putin's a dictator, bro. Like, nobody next to him that he trusts has influence in what he thinks. Like, you're gonna think these, the most. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or not.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see. Islam deserves a title shot. It's going to be whoever wins between Justin Gaethje and Oliveira. I'm excited for that fight too. But Islam, man, just the fact that he has Khabib in his corner and Khabib guiding him. Like, Khabib is the GOAT in UFC. Like, I don't care what people say. Like, I don't care if people say he's not exciting to watch. He does just one thing. He just wrestles, whatever. It doesn't matter. He was dominant. Like, dominant.
There's an art to it could end at any moment. And that's what, Ronda Rousey was, she could scrap with the best of them. But I watched some highlights where she won like her first 10 fights off, like 9 out of 10 were arm bars. Arm bars aren't exciting, but at the fact that she could get somebody down and boom, it's over. There's a little excitement to that if you appreciate the sport.
Yeah. So they do a good job with everything, and they've done an exceptional job leading up to this next week. This week coming up fight, and man, fuck, bro, Kobe, Masvidal, like those dudes were like best of friends. Like, they lived together, like really, really close dudes, and for what happened to happen, and now like it could be promotion, it could be whatever, but no, those dudes don't like each other.
There's a little mix of promotion in there, of course. They know what they got to do. They're trying to get a bag. They know they got to say some crazy shit. Are you able to pull up his quote real quick? Are you able to go on Instagram and share that? Because I don't even want to say the words that Masvidal said, because if you guys missed it on, what was that, this past Friday, they were on ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, Covington, and Masvidal had like a nice one-on-one. It was a shit show. They're both talking over each other, cursing, threatening each other. We put a post on our story, just of a little clip.
I could pull it up, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do the audio yet.
Oh, okay, so just you want to read the quote, or I could pull it up? I have it too.
Well, you talking about when they were on Stephen A. Smith and Kobe said
no, the newest one from today that you sent me.
Oh yeah, so Masvidal was like, they asked him what's going to be the headline. Is that what you're talking about?
Wait, you got to say the exact quote. Hold on. If you're gonna say it, you got to say exactly what he says. He said the question was, "What's the headline on March 6th in the morning after the fight?" Asked the Masvidal, the reporter. He said, "Kobe in critical condition, might not fully make it." And he said it with a stone cold face, looking like a poor version of me. With a neck tattoo.
With a neck tattoo. Yeah, man, it's...
Damn, look at that. I can't not look at this photo and not see my face on it that you Photoshop, which is legendary. Hopefully he wins and we can make that shot come to life again.
Bro, it's going to be tough because Kobe's really good. But, man, like, just being an underdog sometimes and all the hype leading into it and, personal beef and whatnot. Who knows what could happen? But man, like, they were going at it. Like Kobe said, he's like Dak Prescott. He got a bag and hasn't done shit. Like, man, I'm excited because you really don't know what's going to happen in that fight. That's the beauty of UFC. In other sports you can kind of break it down and whatnot, but UFC is, you don't know how someone's going to come out. And
for real, obviously Masvidal
so
in the first fight versus Usman it was a weird battle. It took it on short notice and got like stomped on his feet and lost, but then he comes out the next fight and gets put to sleep like we've never seen before. So, and then this battle, I've watched some Covington. I haven't watched him live, only maybe once or twice. but I've seen some highlights where every fight, man, he's taking blows and giving blows. So respect to him. And right off rip, you wouldn't think somebody like that. You would think somebody like him either loses quickly or wins quickly, but he's been in some battles. And then obviously Masvidal's got a lot to earn too. He wants to build back his name. He's at the end of his career. I think he'll have a career in either WWE or AEW as he could get a little run in a, big main, get a bag for, doing some pro wrestling, or he could go to boxing, make some money there, fight some celebrity. But this might be his last opportunity in the UFC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For anyone to go. Yeah, I think so. Unless he just fights like, people trying to.
I don't think he does that. I think he saves his time and money. I think he can make more money in WWE doing something more AEW than building up and trying to make $100K for a fight. It's not worth it.
For anyone to go 5 rounds with who I think, in my humble and not so vast opinion about UFC, pound for pound best fighter right now, Usman. Kobe went 5 rounds with him, and I mean he made Usman sweat a little bit, and Usman broke his jaw the last time they fought and whatnot. But
he fought and he finished the fight, right?
Yeah.
So you got to give him something there.
So, that's why, even though Kobe has his whole asshole persona, MAGA, whatever things that people might not like, that's just to get attention, man. That's just to
you got to sell his
fights. So that's why it's so great, because it's a one-on-one thing. Like, you got to literally sell yourself to get up there. Like, sometimes skill isn't the greatest thing. There's 2 aspects to that sport, which is also why it's so awesome. So I'm excited, man. Like, they've done a great job promoting that. I know I keep saying that, but man, if you really sit down and watch it, like, you got kicked out of American Top Team for being a bitch.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and they got the videos of them like looking at each other at the gym, trying to fight, trying to do whatever. Like, I'm hype, man. I'm hype.
Yeah, me too. And I can't wait to review that. Hopefully we have some good talk. You're going to be in Jacksonville for that fight, obviously.
Yeah,
coming down, right? I know we talked about it briefly.
Yeah, no, I got some stuff here I got to take care of, and just keep.
Of course.
I got the blinders, the horse blinders on. I'm just like locked in, focused.
No, I got you. Yeah, you got to do your thing. That's it for any sport. Obviously, let's before we get into any shout outs or little things to tie up this episode 11. Lakers are falling apart. LeBron James saying a bunch of stuff that he probably shouldn't have said about that we mentioned last episode, trying to play with his son. Then he gets called out for it by the media. And it's like, oh, I can't believe people blew this out of proportion. Well, bro, your exact quote was, I'm going to do whatever it takes to play with my, like, of course, you're LeBron James. You say anything, people are going to blow it out. And especially if it sounds, while you're having a bad season with your current team, he's like, oh, I want to play with the purple and gold as long as possible. Well, it doesn't sound like that, and it doesn't seem like it. So we're not wrong to assume that you might have second thoughts. Like, come on, bro. Yeah. We're not stupid. We might be dumb. We're not stupid.
I'm really disappointed, and not just how that season has gone for the Lakers, because I'm a LeBron James fan on the court. I want him to succeed and, break all the records as possible and do whatever he can on the court, just because, his whole, that doesn't happen. Like, a kid from, his whole hashtag kid from Akron and whatnot, like, that kind of stuff is one in a million. Like, come from nothing and do what he's done. So, like, of course you got to root for that. It's kind of like an underdog story in some sense, but
yeah,
those videos that have been coming out today and whatnot from the game last night against the Pelicans, like, you never see. I mean, you see it sometimes.
That's a bad loss, bro.
It's always like one jabs, like KD talking back to fans. Like, it's always like, yeah, fuck you or fuck that or whatever. It's kind of just like one-liners, stuff like that. But the way that LeBron was going back with those fans, and then Trevor Ariza getting into it, and then Russ getting into it, like not on the road. They're not on the road.
Oh no,
They're
that's what's crazy. If
they're
you
in
didn't know any
Staples
better,
Center.
you'd be like, "Wait, they're on the road, right?" Like, no,
Well,
they're at
now
home.
Crypto Arena, but they're
Yikes.
at the crib, and
At
they're
the
talking
crib.
back. They're talking back to
At the
fans like
crib.
that, and like that's Jay Will was talking about it. Jay Williams saying that like that's bad. He feels like the Lakers have given up, and I mean, you watch some plays, and you kind of get that sense because they're playing against the Pelicans. All right, not that great of a team, young team, whatnot, but they're only 2.5 games behind you, trying to play for that playing spot, and you're not getting back on defense. You're not switching.
Bro,
You're switching when you're.
Russell Westbrook got the yips. I think that's what it is. I think as an athlete, we've seen it in baseball, we've seen it in football, maybe field goals from a kicker. Not too much in basketball where somebody has the yips, they cannot shoot. I have him in fantasy, and he was a top 10 in fantasy all around in the first quarter of the season. So first half of the season. Bro, since then, it's bad. Turning the ball over. He can't shoot. His ball. Dude, if me and you don't pick up a basketball for a year and we go at the YMCA or whatever, pick up a ball and we're in, I know we're not professionals, but if we start, blah, 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 we could shoot it and it'll hit the rim almost every time. And this man's in the backboard.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen a basketball player go from, and he's never a great shooter, but I've never seen somebody go from an average to a below average to god awful.
And he's always had that like that, transition, like stop on a dime, mid range pull up jump shot. Like that was always money for him. He doesn't even have
within
that
15,
anymore.
18 feet.
Yeah, he doesn't even have that anymore. And I mean, I heard they're bringing in DJ Augustine, who
they just dropped DeAndre Jordan.
Like DJ Augustine, like he's a veteran point guard. He's nothing great, but I feel like he's going to take some of those minutes from Russ. He might be even
I think that's why they brought him in, just in case something goes bad or like worse. It's like, hey man, sorry, you make 40 mil, but
it just sucks to say it because you have, I mean, we can't even talk about Anthony Davis because he doesn't play. He's made of glass.
Like Gravy loves to call him street clothes Davis.
Yeah, and it's just a shame because you have all these great players who've always been so great in their career, and I don't know, it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out, and the pieces they gave away, like they gave away Lonzo, Ingram, Kuzma, like all those players now are
Kuzma's hooping, by the way. On a bad team, Wizards aren't doing well, but I got him in fantasy. This man is like top 10, top 15 fantasy in the last couple months. He's hooping, doing everything.
Yeah, so like, sometimes like you probably shouldn't give away half your franchise for that one superstar because you don't know how it's going to work out. You don't know what can happen. Basketball is a different kind of animal, and it's a shame.
It's got more parity than ever too in the East and the West.
I wanted it to, of course, I wanted to see it work because it's always cool. Like it's the Lakers, bro. Like if they're good, it's good for basketball, and if they don't make the playoffs, man,
they shouldn't. They don't like at
the
end of the day.
No.
The Nets, if they get healthy and they don't play well, I'll be the first one to be like, you know what? They probably shouldn't. Like sometimes your team needs to hit rock bottom to be like, yeah, y'all motherfuckers knew this could be a possibility. Sometimes I say with the Yankees more than anything because sometimes they definitely underachieve. There's times where I'm like, good, I'm glad you don't make the playoffs. Good, I'm glad you didn't win the division. Because it's like, no, you shouldn't get what you wanted, even though you played 90% of the year like shit. Like, good. It's a wake-up call for management, ownership. Like, this shit ain't sweet. Like, you're not going to get to where you need to be every single year because you're the name on the front of the jersey. So sometimes you need that wake-up,
Yeah, it needs to happen. It's just a shame because I don't know. I wanted to see him do well.
Of course, I want to see the Lakers in the playoffs. No doubt about that. But hey, it's not the reality of the situation.
when you lose 6 in a row to the Clippers like that, like that's the longest stretch that the Clippers have.
The team you should be getting up for, the team that is about to have a new arena, they're gonna have a new buzz. They'll never, they'll always be the Brooklyn Nets of LA, and I get the Clippers being, but you want to play up for those. Those are the games that you get. You know, oh shit, I'm hurt. Let me play in this game.
And that's the Clippers without Paul George and Kawhi.
Without Kawhi, dude, so, they've been their record this year right now without those two. They're 32-31. Yeah, without the two best players, like you take that. Whoa, that's big. They've won. I happen to have it up. They won 6 out of the last 10, so they're 6-4, 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, they're playing some good basketball. A lot of players have stepped up.
Top 20 team without their two best players. That's wild. Who could say that? Not many. Enough about the Lakers.
Miami Heat.
Yeah, Miami Heat. Shout out to Miami Heat. Hey, we talk about those teams where Miami Heat playing well. They've gotten a lot of injuries throughout the season. They haven't had a consistency. So I will say they've had a combination of their top players out, and now they're in first place. They're dominating the second place Chicago Bulls right now by about 20 points, 18 points right now. So, hey, they're doing their thing. Philly, we're not going to go into Harden this episode. I want more time to talk about him
in the studio.
Yeah, I want to talk about him more when I have more time. So we'll make a note for next week. We talk about Harden, but 2-0 as a Sixer. All of a sudden, the hamstring doesn't hurt. He lost weight. He's in great shape. He's dishing and swishing. So that whole team is reliant on Embiid's knees. So at the end of the day, we got to see if Embiid plays another 20 games, and then my vote will be out.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for them. So
yeah, he goes down. There's no shot. So let's get into shout outs and little things here and there. Shout out a team that you know about that won a softball championship, Pompano players.
Hey, 954 shit.
Yeah, shout out Travis. I think
the purple and gold team that's actually doing well.
Yeah, good transition right there. Shout out Pistol Pete, and the crew. I've actually not been on that team, but we messed around and had some scrimmages, and we played in the same league or fucked around. But good dudes on that team, and hey, they've been playing hard, and it's good to commit to something. In your off time, you commit to something, whether it's something small or something that means something to them, like softball and a crew, and do something to let off steam, have some beers with the boys. So it's cool to see them.
Even though it's softball, bro, like that shit gets competitive, bro. Like,
there's some grown ass men not trying to lose a game.
Seasoned,
they're not trying to lose, bro.
As we've been living, they're not trying to lose, bro. They're playing like it's Game 7 of the World Series.
You were there?
Yeah.
People, there's a certain person with a name that starts with a V and ends in an O that's not allowed on a couple fields in the Broward area.
You are high.
Yeah, so that people get real competitive. So shout out Pompano players for getting it done for the people, for the county.
Yeah, getting it done for Kodak.
Yeah,
Kodak was at a few of the games.
I'm right. Shout out Kodak. Free him wherever he is. Free him. Hopefully he heals up. I don't know. He's shot. He every other day. He's either shot or in jail. But shout out. Speaking of shout outs, the last I have over here is Vince McMahon. For the wrestling viewers, Vince McMahon will be on Pat McAfee's show on Thursday. Big deal.
Shit.
It has some implications for WrestleMania. So tune into that. That'll be lit. And also, I'll send you this. Dana White was on Pat McAfee today, which I have yet to watch because I had to go do some errands while this was airing. I'll send you the link on YouTube. Pat is a tremendous interviewer. The fact that, first of all, Dana White's been on Pat McAfee's show twice in the last, I think, 4 or 5 weeks. That says a lot. Dana White, one of the busiest men in sports and sports entertainment right now. He's been on there, and he doesn't do like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 plus. The fact that Vince McMahon, who to this day, I watch all documentaries or interviews. I'm kind of in the know on social media. Vince McMahon has not done a formal interview in like 10 years or 8 years. Definitely 5. Let's call it 5, and then you can round up. The fact that he's going on Pat McAfee's show that's building this momentum. Oh, by the way, he also has Aaron Rodgers tomorrow. So if you're listening to this, and it happens to be noon, you could hit pause on us, watch Pat McAfee. Good dude. I love him. I'm a fan. I'm not, I'm going to watch and listen to him too, and then get back to us after the episode airs. But there's good content. You got Dana White today, which was Monday, which I'll send you the link. Vince McMahon on Thursday. Great. Good. I don't know what's going to happen. That's going to be pretty wild. And then you got Aaron Rodgers. Shout out Keys, Jake. He might say where he's going. He might announce on the Pat McAfee show tomorrow around 1:05, p.m. Might announce where he's going. Big deal. So, like I said, listen to us when you wake up, pause it, come back to us, vice versa.
Yeah.
That's all I got, Papa. What do you got?
I don't really got any shout outs for like anyone we know or anything like that. Obviously, shout out Pompano players for sure. Trav, Lawler, all them boys. Only thing I can think of right now is just shout out to all the people fighting out in the war, man. That stuff is not easy. Leaving your families, going in, doing what you got to do for your country, and just standing tall and risking everything you got to do to not just fight for freedom, but fight for something you believe in your lives. And that's not something that a lot of people can say they'll do or actually do. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of heart to do stuff like that. And, that kind of stuff is, we talked about it earlier. It doesn't get in anywhere. It just sets you back. And it's just tough, man. It's just how little things can get blown out of proportion. And just because one person wants to do something else and a stronger or bigger individual doesn't like the idea of it, they want to invade you. And it's just, bro, I can't imagine like waking up to missiles and bombs and planes and shit like that, so.
And it's possible. And it's real. It can happen anywhere.
It can happen anywhere. And we take that kind of stuff for granted. I know I do. I don't ever think of stuff like that. So I'm definitely not the only one that wakes up in the morning and doesn't think of shit like that. So kind of just like, if you listen to this or if you even get into an hour and 20 minutes into us, kind of just sit back and think of stuff that doesn't happen here, that happens every day across the world. And it's sad, man. It's sad. I don't really know how else to put it. And we take that shit for granted. We don't ever think about that. We're over here doing a podcast talking about a Kanye documentary, or not to say that that's bad or whatnot, talking about UFC and whatnot, but those people don't have that privilege. And that's what it is, privilege. It's not something that we deserve. It's not something that we work for. It's not something that, we should just get. It's a privilege at the end of the day. And I always say stuff like that, and I forget it because it's not on the front of my mind. But
of course,
when we talk
and that's
about
how
it,
you are. You have that privilege, that the fact that you don't ever have to think of it daily, weekly, yearly, whatever it is. That's how you should appreciate it more.
Yeah, just be appreciative of where you live, of, where you come from, because some of these people have been going through that stuff since the day they were born. That's all they know: war and destruction, and they don't have what we have. And just just think about it.
Love, and war, stop war, and racism. By the way, I hate when people companies. I'm watching soccer the other day, and it just says "Stop war." Like,
speaking of soccer, Russia got kicked out of the World Cup.
Yep, yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up earlier. It's a full-on ban and sanctions on everything Russia. Which, if something happens, we'll dive into more, because I had more of an opinion, and we had 3 people on the pod, and we had limited time with Ben, but we'll chop it up and see if anything develops. But yeah, we'll end on that note. We appreciate Ben for hopping on with us for a limited time. Hopefully we get him try to once a month and get his flow. Maybe next time he hops on, we go live so we could have some fan interaction, because we haven't gone live in a while. But yeah, absolutely.
As
so
always,
we got
brought to you by
BR boys. Yeah,
officially,
shout out.
unofficially.
Yeah, Ben now that he
Yeah.
officially, unofficially, Ben now is a BR boy, unofficially.
BR boy, yep.
His check can't clear until ours, obviously. We working on it. I'm gonna see Patrick, what is it, March, end of March for his daughter's birthday. So we link up, maybe rub some shoulders, maybe get a new bottle. See what I gotta do. Maybe I get you some water, some caviar. When you slide through the crib, I'll give you that.
Yeah. Just need some H2O, some high quality H2O.
Got you. Some merch. All right. So, episode 11. That's it. Peace.
Peace.